Productions proudly presents the Waterman and Dietrich Show.
The Constitution promises us.
Digitized live in Cape Coral, Florida. I know the background music is a little low. That's because since we have last met, people, I got a new computer set up in the studio. We got OBS working properly, and joining us live from Las Vegas is Gordon Abernathy as always. Sadly, Dave is not here tonight. He is dealing with some more family emergencies. But you know what? We have somebody cooler, somebody more handsome to talk to live from the At Computer Studio, looking a lot like a news broadcast. Joining us tonight, you've seen him on American Ninja Warrior. If your kid goes to Diplomat Elementary School, you've seen him in the gym class. I, at this point, like to call him a friend of ours. Returning to the show for the second time, Morgan Mooseroyd. Morgan, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. I have a little trouble catching you on your audio right now. You're coming in a little broken, distorted, but I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah, it tends to happen when we play the background music. That's one of the things Gordon complains about. Am I clear now?
You are.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know you've had a super busy day. It's not easy being an American Ninja Warrior.
It is definitely an experience. It's a young man's game, but there's a few of us in the 40 and up group that are still going at it.
Well, I gotta say, for those of you who watched this season so far, because we're still early into the season of American Ninja Warrior, but we've seen the first few semifinals, and I've got to say, you got ripped off. California had it easy compared to what you guys did.
It's a hit and take. Give and take. California had it easier when you look back at it, but they also were the first ones to get the new steps, and those new steps took out 27 ninjas. The 5 pegs in a row, very first obstacle. So imagine spending all year waiting for that moment, getting the first call and wiping out in 5 to 8 seconds. Whereas those of us in Atlanta, most of us passed that step because we were like, oh, I think I'm going to build. I literally built it in my backyard. I buried it 5 6x6 posts, and I'm running across them. The neighbor's like, it's that guy again. Just smile and nod, honey. Don't make eye contact.
Well, we've talked about this in the past. Somehow you managed to do all this. You got a salmon ladder in your backyard. You got other things in your backyard, and yet the homeowners association hasn't kicked you out of the neighborhood yet.
Funny part about that, a couple of things. It turns out the homeowners association is a lot nicer if you actually join the board.
Well, Gordon can understand that because he heads up the board of his homeowners association out in Vegas because he got tired of the nonsense too.
Yeah, I just do a little bit. If somebody wants to paint their house, I have to approve the color. I have not let them know that I have failed the military color test every single time. Like, you only have to, if you fail the original color test, you only have to pass the red, green, and I could pass that one. Everything else, I'm like, meh, looks gray, looks brown. I don't know, looks good. And plus, too, the other nice part about it is the neighbors, they all seem to like ninjas. They like the show, and they appreciate that I'm not just building it for the sake of building it. We're calling it a playground, but I do let the kids on it as well, as long as they knock on the door first. So that's a big deal.
Well, I guess that helps if you're on a show that's so popular opposed to being like the lead singer of a death metal band. Then they tend to frown on whatever activities. You could put a barbecue grill and a hammock up, and they would find a reason to complain about that.
Oh, right. Well, I don't think there's charcoal allowed in this area, sir.
But you got a grill. Yeah, but you're going to do sacrifices on yours. But anyhow, let's get back to it. For those of my listeners who wasn't around for your first appearance, let's just back up a little bit. How did you get involved in all this craziness, and how has it changed your life?
Okay, well, prior to Ninja, I had been doing MMA, cage fighting, really big on the obstacle course racing circuit. And I had gone to that Stone Cold Austin Broken Skull Ranch show. What happened was my kids, though, it would always end up at night. My kids would really be into, hey, Dad, you got to watch this ninja show. And I'm like, it looks easy, but it looks like it's a real pain in the butt to get into. So I just kind of blew it off. In season 7, my daughter's like, Dad, you really got to do this. And I was like, okay. They start the application process, break my finger. Ooh. So I'm like, whatever, must be the sign. So I ignore it. Season 8 comes around, and my daughter's almost 10. She's like, Dad, for my 10th birthday, all I want is for you to apply to the show. And I'm like, I'm gonna save some money. So not a problem, kid. She follows me around for 2 weeks, filming me on her phone. Starts, messaging some people. Hey, Dad, isn't one of your teacher friends work audio or AV at the school? Yeah, he does. It's because we have to put together a 3-minute submission video. So she films all this stuff. We get the video together, send it in. I'm not thinking anything about it. Phone rings. So just like that, driving up to Atlanta to compete in season 8, where I promptly wipe out on the 4th obstacle. What didn't matter, though, is it turns out that people really like old guys in moose hats.
Yeah.
Because you've met me, I'm genuinely happy to be wherever I go. There's a running joke in the ninja community that I'm like the bearded Ned Flanders of ninja. And they always like, you look so surprised with every obstacle. Oh, I kind of am. I'm like, oh, I made it. All right, what's next? And, when I first went on stage, it was 3 a.m. in the morning on season 8 in Atlanta. And the crowd was like, hey, look at this guy. I had been running through the crowd, high-fiving kids, talking to people, and be like, yeah, this is awesome. This is my first time. What are you doing? And so when I got on stage, everyone woke back up. They were clapping, they were cheering, and the cameraman's like, hey, they really like you. Do they know you? Do you live here? I'm like, no, they just say hi to people and talk to people. The next year they brought me back, and I did phenomenal. Made it all the way to the Vegas finals in season 9. And I got to tell you, though, going to Vegas in your 40s, a lot different than going in your 20s. I'm like, well, this would be great. I'm in Vegas. I can catch a show, get some souvenirs for the wife and kids. If I hurry back in time, I can catch the special at the buffet. And, oh, my God, I've turned into my father.
All you can eat crab legs.
It was amazing.
Well,
so it just kind of snowballed from there, the Moose brand really has just taken off. I mean, I was at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio.
My hometown.
I want to see back in February,
and
it was amazing. I'm standing next to some of the world's greatest ninjas, and I'm the world's okayest ninja. And they're walking past these guys, these elite athletes, like, hey, Moose, my kids saw you on TV. Let's send them a picture. Sure. And I've also tried really hard to be very approachable. I respond to a lot of social media. It's been a little interesting, though. After Miami last year, when I did really well in Miami, in my home state, and my Instagram blew up. I'm probably over around 24,000 followers combined now, and it's led to some interest. I've gotten. Normally, we only think that females receive pictures of men's genitalia unsolicited. I'm up to 3 now. 3. There's 3 more.
You got a set.
Danger noodles than I have ever needed to see in my Instagram feed ever.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is coming
out there, and you're thinking, you know what this guy probably needs?
A picture of my junk.
It's not that. It's not that. Thank you.
And this is coming from a man who served a few years in the military and has showered in the appropriate military style. He doesn't need to see any more junk in his life. Don't bother.
It's so true. So true.
I want to back up real quick because you mentioned something that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. We know that the Ninja Warrior obstacle course heavily revolves around grip and physical fitness. But like you said, you had to run it at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, most of us have a hard time driving a car across town at 3 a.m. in the morning to go to that late-night Taco Bell run. But here you are expected to do superhuman activities after probably being awake all day. Because I can't imagine you can just... Yeah, I'm sure they allow you to sleep around the studio, but I'm sure your adrenaline's pumped up, you're in a new area. That's not exactly something you can just, I'll go nap for 4 hours and then I'll do my thing. How do you get yourself to do that?
Right. Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, the crowd's going nuts. You have friends. You make friends in the ninja community. So you were like, oh, I want to see how they're doing. It's like I should take a nap, but then so and so is running in three, and then after that somebody else, and then after that somebody else, and you want to cheer your friends on and see how they're doing. Plus, you want to watch how they're beating the obstacles. I mean, if you look last year at Miami, when I went backwards on the slippery summit, suddenly all the ninjas are like,
You hacked
And
the
then
course.
more than a few of them started going backwards. They're like, thanks, Moose. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, because you basically hacked the
that's
course.
Oh yeah, but yeah, 3 in the morning. That's like waiting till Tuesday in teacher time. I mean, it's not even trying to stay up for that. Usually, a lot of us we stay up the night before. There's like a time honored event. We do ninja karaoke, where a bunch of the ninjas literally find the closest karaoke bar. We stay up all night singing badly karaoke all night long. We crawl into our hotels. We sleep all day. I get up, eat some bananas, eat some peanut butter, slowly start crawling my way to the course, drink a bunch of coffee, and then we camp out. A lot of us, we stretch, we mentally walk. We just walk over and over again in our minds through the course. Because this is it. You have that. It's like you have that one chance, and you saw what happened to me this season. I tried a different technique on the 5th obstacle in Atlanta, the Ferris wheel, and it normally would spin and then lock into place. Well, if you go under, you can go faster, but it won't lock. There was no jarring to lock it in. So I learned in a very inopportune moment that next year I need to go over, because there was no way to get enough momentum on my lache. I wasn't pumped out. There was just no way to get a good swing in. So it was frustrating.
Hey, real quick. So just that I understand, and everybody else, you guys go into these courses blind, correct?
Correct. We see them. We see them building. We get there. Usually everyone gets there about 2 or 3 days before. We watch them start building it. We try to figure out, okay, what could that possibly be? Because some obstacles are brand new. Some obstacles are going to be obstacles they've used before. Like I got lucky, the spinning dice obstacle. I faced that in season 8, so I got to see it again 4 years later, and I beat it a second time, and I was very happy about that. But we don't get to touch it. We just get to one time watch somebody go through it, and then ask any questions.
So you got to figure where the bucket of monkey wrenches are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, what's been nice is a lot of times so far, every ninja city has been in a large enough city that there's a ninja gym there. And everyone frantically runs to that ninja gym and tries to recreate some sort of mock-up to those obstacles. But it's always kind of like, it's going to be sort of like this. And then you hope for the best. A big part about it is you just have to commit. You have to believe in yourself that you're going to beat that obstacle and to really commit.
How much of it is more about speed than anything? Hit it as fast as you can and hang on, basically.
Every single balance obstacle that they have is if you go in a straight line and you go really, really fast, you have a really good shot at beating it. You cannot hesitate at all. You already have to know exactly where your feet are going to go. And I have been lucky in the sense that, because of all the obstacle course racing back in the day, I have yet to fail a balance obstacle. Now, I'm hoping that by saying that, I don't jinx season 12 when they're back in Florida. But most of it has to be it's only the balance obstacle speed matters. Everything else, as long as you have good grip, you're solid. You can power through most things. But like, let's say some of the laches, you have to have good timing as well.
Well, here's what a lot of
speed
people
will win you money, though.
Here's what a lot of people don't realize, and you brought it up the first time you were on the podcast. I just assumed that whenever they reset the obstacle course, they have exact reset spots. They get out the tape measure, the square, and all that. You tell me there's just a guy with a stick, and he kind of, okay, that's good enough. And so when they reset the movable footholds or what have you, they're not guaranteed to be centered, to be in the exact same spot they were for the previous guy. It's just somebody with a stick kind of pushes it. Okay, that's about good.
That is in fact correct, and I got to tell you, they get a little bit better every year, but every now and then you just gotta hope. You gotta hope. Okay, I hope he pushed it, and it's an extra. It's not an extra inch or half inch too far to the left or to the right. That it's about centered. You can't pay attention too much to so many people's runs, because then you get up there and you realize, oh, it wasn't this way, but now it's this way. and now you've been practicing putting your left foot forward, and suddenly you have to adjust to your right foot. You just kind of get up there and you're like, okay, it'll probably be this way, but if it's not, I'll switch feet.
So overthinking it would kill you.
It absolutely does. And that's where a lot of the 40 and up crowd for ninjas, we do have an advantage because we have other experiences to match the pressure to. We have other things that have been high pressure, in our lives. Like I've been in cage fights. I've been in grappling matches. I've been in high stakes competitions. I've been in a desert. I'm like, no one's shooting at me. I'm not camping out with sand everywhere. I'm not getting hit in the face. It's just me climbing on this thing. So I get excited when I compete. Some of the guys, when they're like 22, 23, it's their whole identity, and they really beat themselves up at it, and I can't fault them for it. When you're 22 and 23, that is your identity. That's all you've got so far.
And the thing that they have going against them as well, because going back to when you first appeared, you told me you're kind of presented with this. A lot of those cats, once they make 1 or 2 appearances and they make a name for themselves, even if they don't finish, someone will come to them in their hometown and say, hey, why don't you quit what you're doing? We're going to open up a ninja gym. You're going to be the face of that gym. We're basically going to pay you full time to work out. At that point, they become a professional ninja. And it's kind of like being a professional anything athlete. When you go to the Olympics, that is your end goal. That's what you've been training for. And so when they go out there, not only do they have the world watching them, but they kind of got the guy who's sponsoring their gym back home kind of saying, okay, we've been fronting the bill, now it's time to perform. And so they kind of feel like they have a lot more weight on their shoulder, whereas you're like, hey, I have no interest in that. I love my life. I love what I do. And so I'm sure that pressure adds to it as well.
That's a real good point. And it is. I've actually had to politely turn down 2 different investors now who've been like, Moose, we love you. We love your brand. We are going to make this massive gym. We're going to franchise everything. We're going to get rich. Oh, but I need you to quit teaching. Well, I like teaching. I realize, don't get me wrong. It turns out that you may not be aware of this, but teachers are not loaded. Nope. It is not rock star fame and bags of riches, but it's nice. I like what I do. I like being a coach. And, I do this unheard of thing, which is called live within my means. So it's been okay. Now that said, Ninja has given me some opportunities as far as, I've been doing appearances for a lot of corporations. I've been, anywhere from birthday parties to corporate events, public speaking. Clearly, I don't mind talking in front of cameras, but it's been such a fun experience. I've been able to do some things with the wife and kids that I wouldn't have been able to do. I've been able to promote fitness for children on a platform I would never be able to see normally. So I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm loving the life that I live thanks to Ninja.
And the last time,
like you said, without the pressure.
And the last time you were on, you were getting ready to launch something that was awesome. You figured out a way, because you're a smart guy. You figured out a way, how can I take this ninja thing and parlay it into the education system? And the guys in the American Ninja Warrior were all on board. Some of the other ninjas were on board. Last school year, you launched something that's, basically unheard of, unprecedented in the school system. How was that, and how was it? How did it take off for the school year? How did the kids like it?
Okay, what I did is I launched a website called www.kidsninjafitness.com. And what I did is I've always been really against mandatory fitness testing in elementary schools. I don't need a 7-year-old who knows she can't do a pull-up to be forced to fail a pull-up in front of her friends and peers just so I can have some sort of arbitrary grade. Okay, PE, when you're in elementary school, PE should be the Disneyland of school every day. Mm-hmm. That should be where you're coming out, you're playing some dodgeball, you're running around, you're throwing a frisbee, you're learning how to overhand throw, you're playing some soccer. Well, but everyone wants numbers. So I said, okay, we'll have elective-based fitness testing. And how do you do that? How do you make kids want to come test? So I paired it around ninjas. I have Matt Eisman does my intro video. Akbar does my closer. I have a dozen ninjas, Jesse Graff, Jamie, Ron, Dougie Fresh. I've got a bunch of ninjas that have made videos of encouragement. So when I launched this in October, I put my video of Matt Eisman on the morning news. And then suddenly 1,000 kids in my school are dying to come out and at least try to do a pull-up. I mean, I had kids that they failed to pull up 15 times in a row, get back in line to try one more time. Everyone's cheering them on. That onus and that sting of failing suddenly disappeared. And the best part is it's a completely malleable program, and most importantly, it's completely free.
Yeah.
I pay for it out of my own pocket. I'm not monetize it. I try to get it out there. I'm at about a little over 40 schools now nationwide. Certificates, everything that you need is there, downloadable and easily accessible. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to pushing it more this year. I'm in talks with the Arnold Schwarzenegger After School All Stars Club and Ninja Coalition and Sky Zone, just about some real good ideas on trying to get this out and about and make some magic happen.
That's fantastic, because in these days it just seems to be a insurmountable task to get kids to be physically active and get away from their Xboxes or their video games.
That's a big deal. And I can't even, people are real quick to say, oh, these kids these days and their video games. And my thing is, I can't blame the kids. It's like, they're doing what kids do, man. They got raised on video games. They were given stuff. You're watching me close my garage, by the way. My neighbor just texted me. Is that my garage?
So we get exclusive access to your home. I did see the moose over your shoulder, and I did see all your medals hang on the wall. That's an impressive display you got there.
Oh man, I'll get back to that thing real quick, but I'll give you a quick tour of that bad boy. What it was is, the biggest thing is everyone talks about kids these days, and I'm like, if you make it fun, they'll do. Look at adults. There's a reason CrossFit gains so much popularity, because sometimes it gets boring. Hey, what'd you do today? I lifted up something heavy, and then I put it back down, and then I picked it back up again. It was great.
And I pay $130 a month to do it.
Thank you. Like people make fun of Planet Fitness. They give you Tootsie Rolls and pizza. Yeah. Tootsie Rolls and pizza. That sounds amazing. Yep. And it's $10 a month. How can you hate on this? Well, I'm at Planet Fitness half the time. I go work out with my wife. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll go in there for a Tootsie Roll. Don't mind if I do. A little pre-workout sugar and energy.
Well, I go to the wrong gym.
Yeah, you do. The first Monday of every month, they put some pizzas out there. Unfortunately, I'm still at work. While we segued into it, you are also a personal trainer. And between the three of us, we're about 160 years old. So for those listening who are 40 years old or older, and you're wanting to maybe get back into it a little bit. For example, I ran like 4 miles the other day, and I was coming down the street, and my neighbor's like, keep on running. And I never even met the guy. He was just out in his driveway smoking and having a good time. And I said, well, I just ran 4 miles. I'm done. He's like, yeah, I haven't done that in a long time. I'm like, well, it just takes 2 steps out the driveway. Just start walking first and work your way up. If somebody in their 40s, late 30s, and maybe even 50s, they want to kind of get back into working out, but they're concerned about getting hurt, or they don't know where to start. As someone who trains people, now obviously you train people at an advanced level as well, but what's simple advice? Where can people get started easily? Because I can talk about it, but I'm not the professional. This is one of the things you also do. What kind of advice can you give to people who are wanting to get off the couch and onto their feet?
Well, you know what? You nailed it right off the bat. The biggest fear is injury, and that's a legitimate fear. Once you hit over 40, an injury takes us about 3 times longer to heal up for than it did in our 20s. Now, that said, the 3 most important steps for fitness, in this order, once we're over 40, is number 1, good sleep habits.
I still don't do that.
And that is, we cheat ourselves on sleep so much. That's when our body repairs itself. We're not in our 20s anymore. We can't get by on a 4-hour bender and then go somehow still manage to pass a final. It really it shortchanges everything we do. It makes our decision-making capability shorter. It's what makes us go through our Taco Bell drive-through instead of being, I'll eat some chicken when I get home and be a little healthier. No, you know what? I'll drink the water instead of the soda. We take the easier option because we're tired of making choices, and our body is more sedentary by nature because we have less energy because we're tired. When you get a good night's sleep, you have more energy, you make better choices, and you're just a nicer person too. Okay, we're not tired and grouchy. Number 2, reasonable nutrition. Okay, I mean, I understand that everyone let's eat healthy. Whoever says eating super clean is fun sits on a throne of lies.
Yep.
Like, now that said, I don't treat my body like a temple. I treat my body like a truck. You can beat a truck up kind of, and it's still going to go just great from you. It's going to run. It's a truck. But things I do avoid, I avoid liquid calories. You won't see me with fruit juices, sugary coffees. My coffee is black and my tea is in the harbor.
Well, one of the things,
it's like, as long as you can avoid liquid calories, though, that is half the battle on your nutrition. Understanding serving sizes are the big deal. Number 3, fitness. Lift some damn weight. Now, that said, the biggest issue I have with a lot of my clients is I'll be like, okay, well, especially, I'm not going to say my female clients. Yes, I am. Deborah, I'm talking to you. I just want to get toned. I don't want to get all big and buff. I don't look bulky. Okay, look. That's like going to a tennis coach and saying, okay, listen, I want to get better at tennis, but I don't want to win Wimbledon. If I win Wimbledon, I'm going to be really mad at you. Okay? To get bulky, that requires a whole nother level of commitment and endurance and dietary restrictions. Lifting heavy is the most efficient way for us to get in shape quickly, or most efficient over 40. When you're 35 and older, your body has a propensity to put on muscle and retain muscle better than it did in its 20s and early 30s. When I say heavy, that means you should be able to lift it at least 4 times. If you can lift it over 11, 12, it's too light. If you can't lift it more than 3 or 4, it's too heavy. So, rule of thumb. Let's say my holy trinity: deadlifts, squats, overhead press. So if I'm doing overhead press and I'm trying to push 120 pounds overhead and I'm like, okay, I'm all shaky, I'm going to drop it down. Now, let's say I'm doing 105 and I can do that 8 times. That's a challenging weight. Okay? A lot of people don't want to do deadlifts or squats as we get older because we're like, quite frankly, they're not fun. Well, they are still whole body movements. Even if you're just doing air squats, balance and flexibility is still being worked along with your muscle. And balance and flexibility is one of the key things we lose as we age. And once we lose that, that's when we start falling. That's when grandma breaks the hip and can't get up. Keeping those things in check really matters.
And, I often say I'm a lifelong Adidas fan. Not a big Nike guy, but now that I've been working out for a few years and I've actually starting to lose some weight, whenever people ask me how I do it, it pains me to say this. I never understood it back in the day when this campaign was huge, but it's so truthful, and that is, just do it.
I love it.
Get up.
I love that. And you know what?
Now,
when you just do it, no one finishes a workout and says, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
A garbage workout is still better than sitting on the couch being like, I'll do it tomorrow. Because at least you did something.
Well, it's kind of like
there are days I go to the gym, I'm like, I have 20 minutes. What can I do? And I'll go in there. I'll do something.
Well, it's kind of like the old bumper sticker. A bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work.
Oh, man, so true. Of course, I do all my fishing at Publix because I'm inherently lazy when it comes to that. But it doesn't really matter. Throw that cast net over the fresh fish section. Boy, they get ticked.
Well, Morgan, I know you've had a long day. I'm going to let you go. But before you go, give out your websites again where people can track you down. If I do have some educators who listen, I've got one on there right now. He's up at school up in New York. I'm sure New York City, of all places, needs your help. Get out your plugs one more time, and I will let you go, sir.
Well, thank you so much. Okay. I got a couple of things. My big plug for the website is www.kidsninjafitness.com. Absolutely free to all educators throughout the world. I update the site regularly. Everything is available. All the videos are connected to YouTube, so you can play them on your school morning news, and everything's going to be fabulous. My main sponsor is Muscle Feast Protein, musclefeast.com. It is the cleanest protein in the game. I like it because it is highly effective, especially for those of us 35 and up when we don't want the extra fillers. I don't need the 17 layers of creatine or whatnot. I need really clean, very transparent protein. 0.1 grams sugar, 0.2 grams carbs. MuscleFeast.com, code MFMoose10. Not only saves you 10%, gives you free shipping as well. Local sponsors, it would include Nevermind Bar and Eatery. They have treated me really well. Millennium Brewing, because life is better when you have beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I really appreciate the Waterman D-Train show. You guys have been doing me pretty good. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your show, and I'm looking forward to another great season.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. And you know what? They're not an official sponsor of yours, but you go there, and I just recently went there. Everybody's tired of hearing me bitching about my back pain. They say, yes, Don D-Train, we know you went to Texas, you went to Kentucky, your back hurts. I went to Apex Physical Therapy. You go there as well.
Yes.
I've been doing their computers for 14 years, and Angie's been trying to get me in there. And I finally broke down. I said, Angie, I need your help. I went there on Monday. Now, keep in mind, Monday I could barely walk. I went there on Monday, and I know this is probably not her preferably, and she was probably a little annoyed when she found out, but I did go home and run 3.5 miles that night. But I'm going back. I'm going back tomorrow. My sciatic nerve pain. What they do with their new fitness electrodes and their whole. I was explaining to my dad, because my dad and I go to the same chiropractor. It's like, okay, when you go to the chiropractor, they lay that vibrating mat on your back. I said, well, the cool thing is Apex actually has the pads. They stick to you, and instead of you laying there, they actually make you do the motions in the sore area while that's going on. And what you discover is as you're moving, the intensity doesn't change as far as the machine's concerned, but your body gets used to it. And so before you know it, you're actually telling them to turn it up instead of turning it down like you do when you're at the chiropractor just laying there, because it feels like an elephant's laying on you. But it works, man. I'm feeling great. I'm going tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so glad you mentioned Apex, because you are absolutely right. And I can't even believe their name didn't come out of my mouth. They helped me with my knee last week. They helped me on Thursday, and then I competed in Tampa on Saturday, managing a first place podium finish at for the Masters division at the Live Training Center Ninja competition. And they had over 40 solid ninjas there putting in some hard work. I'm going to be back there Thursday. They're helping me with my shoulder mobility because I have a top secret appearance that I'll be making with six other high quality ninjas with the U.S. Army in June, July, August, September, I believe. Sure. But there are more details to come. We're in the final talks to make this magic happen, but it's looking pretty promising. So I'm pretty excited about what's coming down the pipe. We'll be talking about that when it happens.
And the other advantage is your uniform still fits.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, Morgan, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go, sir. You have a great night.
Hey, thanks, guys, and I appreciate you tuning in.
Later.
Be good, guys.
Bye. There he goes, Morgan Moose of American Ninja Warrior fame. And we're going to move on with the show. That interview went a little longer than I expected, but I was great nonetheless. I'm going to have to bump my other guest for tonight, but that's not a big deal. Gordon, what do you got going on in your world, fella? Oh, you know what? I don't know if I lost Gordon completely or if he is still there. Let me find out. See if we got Gordon on the line. You know what? I may have dumped him out because I was trying to get Morgan off the line, but I bet I dumped Gordon out. And so let's see if we can get him back.
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is. That was embarrassing. But hey, it's live. This is all new. It's all still working. But there he is, Morgan Moose, American Ninja Warrior fame. And I have people who are joining us late once again saying, where's Dave? Dave is off tending to some family matters. Hopefully he will be back next week. I expect him to be back next week. But it is what it is. I mean, the guy has a lot going on in his family. He's talked about it in the past. We all know it's there. And so it is what it is. But we have a show to do, and we want to keep things consistent for our listening audience. And so here we are. Do you have anything on your list of shit? Because we can go through a few things. Actually, you know what? Before we get to the list of shit, yes, I know the show's all over the place. I want to hit up the sponsors real quick. For those of you who have been going to d-410.com, who have clicked on the Amazon link, I am starting to see that evidence. Thank you guys for doing that. For those of you who haven't yet, if you could please just go to d-410.com, click on the Amazon link. You can save it to your desktop. You can put it in your toolbar. The next time you shop at Amazon, simply use that link. It won't cost you anything extra, but they do kick me some coinage, and it's very, very well appreciated. And while you're on my website, if you really like the show, and if you can afford to give $1 a month, please click on the Become Patreon link. Sign up for one of the tiers. One of them's $1, one of them's $3.50, the other one's $7.50. Sign up for the $7.50 a month plan. I will send you a T-shirt. Sleeves.com, as we know, go to Sleeves.com, enter the promo code D41040. That'll save you 40% on any of your activewear you buy. And then that is all I'm going to beat you over the head with, other than the fact that this episode of the Waterman and D-Train show is brought to you by ACT Computers. ACT Computers has been servicing all of Southwest Florida since 2004. I was about to say 2014 and cut 10 years off. Since 2004, they specialize in veterinarian clinics, businesses of all shapes and size, network expansion, network management, server integrations, online backups, cloud services, two-form authentication to protect your cloud-based applications, antivirus, home laptop repair, keyboard repairs when your wife spills the wine or the kids spill the chocolate milk. Let me tell you something, chocolate milk spilled on a laptop does not smell good if it's hot. I've replaced a few of those over the years. Phone screen repairs, pretty much anything. If you got a smart TV and you can't get your Fire Stick to work, or the footprint of your Wi-Fi is just not as big enough for your house, range extenders. Nest doorbell systems. You get the Nest doorbell system, or you have the Nest thermostat and you just can't figure it out. Give them a call, 239-283-1120. They can help you out. Go to act-capecoral.com. If you don't live in Southwest Florida but you're having computer problems, just give them a call, 239-283-1120. They can log in remotely and take care of all of your needs. Gordon, what's going on?
Well, I got some news and shit.
News and shit time.
Shit time,
Hold
yes.
on. I got an intro for you for news and shit.
All right.
Of course, we got a new computer, so I got to turn everything up. Here we go. Wow, this is really low. Oh, wait a minute. Anyhow, coming from the Digital 410 news desk in Florida, I've got to get all these new apps going and running. That was extremely low. Here, let's try it again. That's a little louder. Anyhow, from the news desk in Las Vegas, Florida, here comes Gordon. Gordon, what do you got for us?
All right, so we're going to talk about fake or misleading headlines. This first one is just, it's nuts. School board trustee Danielle Ford refers to male genitalia measuring contest in the latest school board meeting. Oh my God.
Say what?
What did you possibly say?
Wait a minute. Seriously, they literally had a dick measuring contest at the local school board meeting?
No, she referred to it.
Oh,
And
instead of a pissing contest, she's oh, you guys are basically just trying to see who has a bigger Johnson because, like metaphorically?
Absolutely. So, and that's the issue. It's like, can we not speak our minds these days? It's
No,
insane.
you can't. I'm
But
sure something I've said on this episode is going to get me kicked off at some point.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But a Clark County School District trustee is back in the spotlight after she referred to a quote-unquote male genitalia measuring contest during a recent public work session meeting. The meeting occurred at the Clark County School Board building on Wednesday morning of last week. This meeting had several agenda items, including the possible restructuring of the committee assignments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, during the debate, Trustee Linda Young, who represents District C, took some exception to proposed changes that would exclude her from a preferred appointment. Dr. Young sparred with the Clark County School Board president for several minutes, accusing her of being insensitive and discriminatory in her approach for possibly restructuring. At this point, Dr. Young laughed and scoffed on the phone while President Bert Brooks reaffirmed her position rationale. Moments later, Trustee Danielle Ford, talking of these two, came to Young's defense. My opinion is that this is off topic. I don't know. I don't think that anybody on the board intentionally keeps Dr. Young off the committee because they do not want to have diversity, but there's a lot of past stuff that I really don't understand. And to me, it sounds like a dick measuring contest. So, this is enough to make the news in a major city in the United States. Seriously?
Well, it
From
seems to me like the way things go now is whenever you're having a debate or an argument with somebody, and if you don't have a rebuttal, you just attack them personally, and or you say they are attacking you or your belief systems personally, so that you don't have to deal with it. You just get them off topic.
Yeah, it's just insane. And then moving on from the AP, O.J. Simpson says life is just fine after prison. So he tried to move to Naples, Florida.
Yeah, that was a big thing. We didn't want him down here. Um, I don't know where he's going, but yeah, that was kind of a thing for a while because I guess somebody who sponsored him or kind of befriended him or took kind of the responsibility for his probation to make sure he does all the things required and this and that, lived in Florida and lived in Naples, and he was kind of going to come down here kind of to be with his proxy, but, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Nope. Instead, once he left prison in Nevada, he didn't go very far. He came to wonderful Las Vegas.
Well,
the town has been good to me.
And yeah, the irony is that's what got him put in prison. It was him being in Vegas, and the sports memorabilia deal that went awry that got him put in the clink to begin with.
Exactly. And that is totally it. That's what's the funny thing. So he's saying that the town has been good to me. Everybody I meet seems to be apologizing for what happened to me here.
Sorry, Juice. Our bad.
Yeah. A month after his release, an outing to a steakhouse off the Las Vegas Strip ended up in a dispute. Simpson was ordered off the property and barred from returning.
Go on now, get.
Get on now, get. Exactly. So since then, he's not had any problems like this. And he has been among the most sought-after figures in town for selfies and who encounter him at restaurants or athletic events throughout the town.
Yeah, but what he doesn't realize is not that they want to be friends with him. They want to say, hey, I survived an interaction with the Juice and I didn't get my neck cut. They're going to make a joke of it. Not that I'm supporting the guy.
Yeah, I didn't get my ass handed to me, but he did give me a selfie. And I know he hangs out up in downtown Summerlin and some other areas. But it's just interesting. I was hoping he'd go to Naples, but again,
I guess I don't live close enough there to have a sighting. I would actually have to go down there and look for him. But, I don't know. If he would have came, it would have just been nonstop, the local media doing all their stories on him, and it would have just been old hat. So I'm kind of glad that it didn't work. And he's not here.
And there is the latest viral video challenge out there involving a trash bag. Have you heard of this?
Involving a trash bag? No, I have not.
So what it is these people wrap themselves in a trash bag and then they take a vacuum cleaner and remove all the air.
Well, at least a trash bag's thin enough that they can rip their finger. It'd be different if they're doing 2-gauge industrial painter's plastic, but trash bag, you can take your hands and rip a hole in it too, but it's still dumb.
Yep. So coming from KTNV, a local Las Vegas doctor is warning of a potential suffocation hazard after the last viral internet video deemed the garbage bag challenge is showing people placing their bodies inside the plastic bags. The viral video began appearing earlier last week and has already there are video of thousands of views and shares throughout various social media platforms. The challenge video shows people placing themselves into large plastic trash bags, and then with the help of another person, a vacuum hose is placed into the bag and the air is sucked out. Moments later, the plastic shrinks around the person to the point that they are unable to move and fall over. In most videos, the people in the plastic bags are unable to break out of their fall and the challenge ends. So yeah, let's have this bag tighten up on you. You fall over like a dolt and it's over.
This may be a little controversial, but it's digital Darwinism at its finest. I don't know. No, I understand it's sad if it's 8, 10, 12, 15-year-old kids, but if you're over 18 and you're doing that dumb shit, hey man, that's on you.
Isn't there a politician that thinks 16-year-olds should be able to vote?
No. I mean, nowadays they're barely old enough to drive. Why do you think we're trying to invent self-driving cars as quickly as possible?
Oh yeah, it's to remove all chances of accidents. It's just insane. Just the people, started with the Tide Pods, and God knows where else this thing's going to go.
On the local beat, Cape Coral man tries to cover up a burglary by setting his clothes on fire inside of a stolen convertible. A Cape Coral man was arrested after police said he stole a convertible, a television, jewelry, and then tried to cover up the whole affair by setting everything on fire. Cape Coral, Florida. Cape Coral man was arrested after the police said, I love these news sites when you read when they had the first paragraph, a photo, and then they restate the first paragraph all over again. It's kind of like when you watch TV, primarily on the History and Discovery Channel, and before they go to commercial, they kind of do a segment, and then when they come back from commercial, it's the same segment as before they went to. I always thought being a television producer would be the easiest thing because I did radio production for 5.5 years. And imagine, like, whenever we came back from commercial on radio, if we just the first 30 seconds to a minute was the last 30 seconds. But anyhow, the newspaper did the same thing. Neighbors living near the victim's home on Southwest 33rd Terrace called police on May 22nd when they saw the front screen door open, a broken window, and 2 window screens removed. So this guy tried every goddamn access in the house to get it done. Police found the burned clothes and papers in the master bedroom, and soot shoe prints all over the floor of the home, and has been ransacked before the fire started. So I apologize. He didn't burn his clothes inside the convertible. He burnt them in these poor people's houses. Following this story, we'll get blah, blah, blah. The homeowner was out of town when the burglary occurred. Their 1997 Mazda Miata convertible was stolen from the garage. Now, I think he did them a favor. Honestly. If you're hanging on to a 1997 Mazda Miata, yeah, it's not exactly a collector's item, and it wasn't ever a cool car to begin with, so take that insurance money and run. The convertible stolen TV was set on fire in the Cape Coral home. License plates read license plate. This story is just all over the place. Anyhow, he burnt shit up. He did the people a favor. He got rid of that annoying ass, ugly ass 1997 Mazda Miata. He did the world a favor. Good for him. What a dipshit. What do you got else you got on in the Vegas beat, Gordon?
I think that's about it. It was a little last minute getting on tonight. So
yeah, it's been a crazy 48 hours. The show was canceled yesterday to go to today, and then it was almost canceled today, but I had already rescheduled Morgan. As of 1 o'clock today, I was expecting to do the show tonight, but here you are. Tomorrow night, for those of you, if there's any cross promotion, if you listen, well, actually, you guys won't hear it tomorrow. It's recorded tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'm going across town to the Unsupervised podcast. I'm going to be on their podcast. I think that'll go up for upload on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I posted a video the other day. I got a few comments. I don't know how it was taken, but let me ask you this, Gordon. You walk into a store, right?
Yep.
A coffee shop in particular. And you see a gentleman, maybe 25, 26. He's a little overweight, but other than that, he looks like what we used to call a normal cat. Now we can't use the phrase normal because it's offensive. Bleached blonde hair, kind of grown out, kind of shaggy. Beard. He had on a tank top. Tattoos up and down both arms. Shorts, flip-flops. Playing on a tablet in a coffee shop. Okay. Nothing strange about that, right?
No, it just sounds like a regular cat hanging
now
out.
I use strange, and after I say this next part, I'm going to get even more shit. The dude had on all 10 fingers, probably 2.5-inch long acrylic fingernails, painted up in multiple colors, shapes, designs, and was basically using them as a stylus on his tablet. And I posted a video. My whole point of the video is, look, I'm down for the cause. If you want to do the cross-dressing thing, you want to cross up like a woman, you want to claim your woman and your man, woman, that's fine, but commit. Go all out. It's a little weird when you only can commit up to your fingertips. I've heard of dipping your toe in the pool, but the 10 fingernails, it's just weird. I'd rather see you go all the way out, and that wouldn't bother me as much as than to see what looks like a everyday Joe, stacked up with long-ass fingernails.
Yeah, I guess my question is what is the purpose? Are you to shock your parents? Is that what's going on?
I don't know if he's doing the whole shock thing. I think he legitimately doing it for himself. But once again, are you dipping your fingernail into the pool? Or now,
so to speak.
If he didn't have a beard, I would say, hey, he's he's one of he's a drag queen on his day off, right? but he had a full beard. So I don't see a lot of these drag queens going out dressed up in their finest evening gowns performing with a full beard. Usually they go all out with the fake boobs and the clean shaven, and they're dressed up with the long wigs, and they're out there performing, doing their thing. So if he had been clean shaven, I would say, okay, he's a drag queen on his day off. Cool, good for you. But the whole beard part, I guess, is what threw it off for me.
Yeah, that's just odd. I mean, you see crazy things like that everywhere, and I understand, and I'm down for the cause too. But it's like, at what point is it just kind of watered down that cause? You know, just people out trying weird shit to be weird, or is it just? And I'm sorry if I sound like an old man, but it just I have a hard time wrapping my head around some of these things that's going on out there. And believe me, we've done our fair share when we were younger, trying to push the limits. But at what point does it stop?
Well, you said something kind of interesting. Not to go too deep into this, but I said this back when the whole, I don't even know what name she's going by anymore. The whole Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner thing started, right?
Yes.
The thing that confused me about it, because I was born in '79, and the feminist movement, the bra burning, had just passed. But all the women are empowered. You had 9 to 5 come out. In my generation and your generation, we were kind of raised to think, as the feminists did at that time, of what it meant to be a woman. To be a woman is more than just wearing a dress and the size of your boobs. It's the life experiences. It's the everything that you grew up going through. And what blew my mind when Bruce Jenner went out and got the sex change, and all of a sudden he's a woman, and all of a sudden everybody's calling him a woman, it's like, well, aren't you going against everything the feminist movement fought by saying, okay, we went from, hey, it means it takes more to be a woman than breast and a dress, to, well, I guess now all it takes to be a woman is breast and a dress? Because that's all he did, right?
Yeah, that's.
It used to be, it's about motherhood, it's about the struggles, it's about the oppression, it's about the interchanges we go through. They had a whole laundry list, no pun intended. See, now I'm a dick. I'm talking about feminism, and I include laundry in the list. They had a whole list of what it meant to be a woman, and to me it seemed like that was all kind of washed away when this whole thing started.
Yeah, and it has. And what's interesting to me is, science. People like to prop science up for everything as this is the way it is. This is science. You can't have religion because we got science. But yet, when it comes to the biology of a human being male and female, that's brushed under the rug.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't fit the narrative.
No, exactly. And it's like you want to change everything to fit the narrative, but I'm sorry, you just can't change it.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not attacking anybody, and I'm going to bring up an old term that's probably frowned upon, but it used to be called hermaphrodite. Scientifically, there were people who were born with both genitalia, and the parents and the doctors at the time of birth used to have to make the decision on what sex they were going to be. And I'm sure that sometimes they were chosen to be a boy, and it turns out their body produced estrogen, and the wrong decisions were being made. So yes, I do understand biologically there are people who are born with male genitalia whose body produces more estrogen than it should for boys, and most likely they were probably meant to be born a female, but due to the biology, the appropriate genitalia wasn't created. But I don't know. It just seems like now a lot of it's just kind of, hey, I've made this decision, which is fine when you're 18 and older. What concerns me is when parents are allowing young kids to make decisions long before. I mean, let's face it, we all did stupid, crazy shit when we were kids trying to figure out what way we're leaning in life. So I don't know. To me, it just seems a little early.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're letting children make decisions that will affect them the rest of their lives before their brains are actually fully hardwired and they can understand the ramification of those decisions. They're letting them make these decisions based on their emotions at that any given moment in time.
And look, people, this has nothing to do with just sexual interest. If I would have done everything I wanted to do when I was 16, 17 years old, I would be covered with insane clown posse tattoos right now. But luckily I didn't, because, I was a different person then. So I'm just saying, when your kid's 13 or 14 and they want to make life-changing things, maybe tell them, hey, go that way, but let's save the long-term changing stuff till you're 18, 19, 20. If you feel the same way, go for it. We'll support you. We'll all support you. Great. But wow, we went down a dark tunnel on that. Didn't mean to go down that road. I'm sure we pissed off a few people, but there's nothing you can do nowadays that won't piss off somebody somewhere at some time.
Yeah, everything's a trigger.
Yeah. It's just nuts and crazy. You know, the interview with Morgan went a long time. It was a great interview. Dave's not here. Hopefully he will be here just coming up. The show was a little frantic. Not only did we have Morgan on at the top of the hour, not only did we finally get OBS working. See, Gordon's not on the TV anymore. We can get rid of that hokey aspect. Gordon's up in the corner. We look more like a professional news organization. Now, I know some of you out there use OBS, and I've been bitching about this for a while. I mentioned this at the top of the show, but the Computer Tech tip for today, Monday, thought I was going to say Tuesday, but it's not Tuesday. The secret to get this to work, you're going to go out and you're going to look at YouTube videos, and it's going to tell you how to enable NDI and all that. Here is the secret for you Windows 10 users, which should almost be everybody now. Apparently, I didn't know this until tonight after I watched the video for the third time, because I usually fast forward through all the editorializing until I start seeing the video doing what I'm looking for. There are two versions of Skype, ladies and gentlemen. You have the version that downloads through the Windows App Store, because Microsoft wants everything to look like a cell phone now. And then you have what they call the desktop version. The Skype that you download through the Windows App Store does not support this feature. Why, I don't know, but it doesn't. Here's the rub. You're going to say, well, that's fine, Don. I will just open up Google Chrome and I will go type down Skype desktop download. And when you do that from the Skype's official website, it's going to try to open up the App Store to download the version you already have. You're going to hit cancel and nothing happens. So unfortunately, this is where it gets a little hard. You're going to have to download it from a third-party site, and this is where you risk getting viruses. Just Google Skype desktop download, and you'll find it. I think I got mine from, hold on, I'll just do it right now. So I don't want to send you guys to a crappy website to get you a virus. You're going to have to get it from one of the reputable third-party sites, because once again, if you go to Skype and do it, you will just get redirected to the web store, and that will not do what you want it to do. And yeah, so that's not going to do what you want it to do, and you're going to probably get a virus. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. You actually have to get it from a third-party store, and I had to do it by Googling Skype desktop download and get it that way. I think you can get a File Hippo and get it. I think they're pretty reputable. But yeah, you just got to download it from a third-party site, and you'll get it. And then you don't have to do anything else. Once you've already done through all the original steps on your original Skype and it didn't work, actually I lied. Once you launch your conversation, you will have to go into Settings, Advanced, and activate the NDI. So that's the Computers Tech tip for today. If you have been using OBS and you have been trying to bring Skype into your software so you can broadcast the video like we've been doing today, because that's the reason, honestly, that's why Gordon's been on his TV for the last few months, is because the shit didn't work, because I wasn't aware that there's two versions of the same software. And yes, both versions will run on your computer at the same time. So if you don't uninstall the web app version, make sure you put the shortcut to the one you downloaded prominently on your desktop so you know which one to launch. Otherwise, it will not work. And I think we lost Gordon, or he don't know what to say. And you know what? We're going on. Show's long. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for your continued support. Thank you for those of you who are shopping through the Amazon link. I'm sorry for those of you who are telling me I suck in the channel and saying that the show's better with Dave. I know. I want Dave here, too, but once again, he's dealing with family things. Hopefully, your favorite part of the show will be next week. And for those of you who are still here, who like me, I appreciate that, too. And thanks, everybody. I think we're going to go out on that note. And I'm going to try to play our outro music, but it's probably going to be super low. But I'll have all those bugs worked out next week. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.